So WitchFire is a game that has a bunch of different types of weapons, providing different play styles for all. And I thought it'd be cool to do some showcases of the weapons, and in this case, one of the newest weapons added with the newest update, and that being the Basilisk. Now, the Basilisk is one of those sniper rifles, and at level 0, it kind of starts in between where the all-seeing eye and the hailstorm is. Like, it doesn't have as much damage as the all-seeing or the hailstorm, but it does a lot more damage than the all-seeing eye. It has a really good mag capacity at 10, and it has decent ammo reserves at 50. So all in all, you get 60 rounds. Usually with elites, it'll take 4 to 5 rounds to down, and with a regular basic bitch enemy, it'll take, 2, maybe 3 if you miss a headshot. At level 1, you get critical hits ignite the scope for a few seconds, causing enemies viewed through the fiery scope to burn. That's a really cool ability. It makes it to where whenever you hit something in the head, anything you look at down the scope will start burning, which is really good for boosting its overall DPS. So you'll go from hitting around 75 damage on a crit to hitting 125 damage per crit. So after that first shot, the second one normally kills everything. Except for, of course, an elite. You'll still probably need around 3 shots. Now, at level 2, shooting a burning enemy extends the burn duration. That's okay. Yeah. I mean, if you miss a headshot, it gives it a little bit of forgiveness. A little wiggle room for when the shit hits the fan. At level 3, killing a burning enemy with a critical hit triggers an enhanced fiery scope that continuously damages enemies. Now, that is an interesting thing. Basically, it kind of does what the first thing does, except the burn actually deals damage. So at level 1, it just applies burn, which really doesn't do much at all, other than rend. At level 3, the burn actually starts to hurt the shit out of them. So I've noticed that it ticks for around 6 to 8 damage per tick, which is like every 0.5 seconds or something like that, maybe once a second. Which just pumps the damage up quite a bit, especially when you're going against the elites. Now, I have noticed, if you wanted to get the most out of this gun and really extend its ammo reserves, use Frost Cone and or the what is it, the Frost Shield, anything that deals AoE frost. In that case, you'll be able to hit one enemy in the face. It'll ignite your scope, and then you just sweep across all the enemies and you'll pop all of them all at once. Really, really satisfying. And I think honestly, without the frost, like if you were running no frost, this gun gets a solid like B plus to like A minus. But with frost involved, I think it gets an A plus, and in the right hands, possibly an S minus. Now, the downsides are you can't really use this to clear out a whole level. You just don't have the ammo for everything. But you do have enough ammo to clear out like a good bit of the shit, honestly. It has really good boss damage. The one downside against the bosses are to get the most out of the weapon, you need to critically kill a burning enemy and then start shooting the boss. But 2 out of the 3 bosses, not including the vaults, of course the vaults also work, they have little minions that you can shoot and then start lighting up the boss. I haven't really got a chance to time how long the burning scope lasts. I think it lasts about 3 to 5 seconds. And so, you're getting 7 or so damage. It's like 35 damage. So it's nothing too crazy, but it is noticeable, especially if you're using frost. So yeah, I think it's not my favorite weapon. The gimmick is just not all that interesting in my personal opinion. but I can see a lot of people really enjoying this weapon, especially if you're the kind of guy that wants to sit way back and shoot shit from a distance. Now, the rate of fire is pretty okay. It's not terrible. The stability is pretty high. Aim down sights it's decently quick. The reload speed's a little slow, but the stun power, unfortunately, is really a downside for this gun. It takes like 6 or so shots to stun an elite, which by then normally they're pretty close to dead already. And then for bosses, the only boss I've been able to stun with this is the new boss in the Shrieking Tower. But that's widely because he just kind of sits still and casts shit at you, so you can just pump him in the face. The other two bosses that move around a lot, you're probably not going to stun them very well. So overall, I like the gun. Not my favorite ever, but it does have a really cool use and really cool synergies, and I'll definitely be making a build around this gun at some point. And so honestly, I'll probably go back through and review the other guns, and I might update the old gun reviews, especially since like the Mida got a little bit of a rework and stuff like that. And honestly, my opinions of the original guns have changed based on the addition of the new weapons. Their ratings are going to be different, their uses will be a little different, especially with the newer enemies added. And so I may just reboot this whole series and redo it all again. So if you were interested in the lore behind this gun, it says, before becoming a prayer, a sinner confessed to a priest that his love for desecrating flesh began with burning his hand using a magnifying glass to focus sunlight. Inspired, the priest eagerly shared this idea with the overseer. It's a pretty interesting concept, and the lore behind it is interesting, and I really like how they tied in an actual prayer, and it gives you a little insight in what exactly prayers are. So, with all that out of the way, definitely a viable gun. I think now you get it pretty early on, and especially with the new patch, they're talking about making it to where you can select what gun you want to unlock. They mentioned that in their newest, whatever it's called, post on their website. So let me know what you think of the Basilisk. If you have any really cool build ideas for it, why don't you comment that too? Otherwise, feel free to get on out of here.